Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. Today, we're taking an insightful look into CERo Therapeutics Holdings. They're focused on innovative immunotherapy for cancer treatment. You shared some really interesting articles, and, well, our mission here is to unpack what's most important for you to understand right now.
That's right. We've got a few sources here, including a detailed due diligence report from, I believe, April 2025, and several news pieces around the same time.
Okay.
So it gives us a pretty good overview of their financials, their business, recent progress, that kind of thing.
And the goal is really to cut through the noise,
Yeah.
highlight the key insights, technology, financial health, what's coming up.
Exactly. We want to focus on the need-to-know stuff. So let's maybe start with the basics.
Yeah.
What CERo Therapeutics is actually developing.
Right. So what's their core focus? What are they trying to do?
Well, CERo Therapeutics is working on next-generation engineered T-cell therapies, mainly for cancer and specifically hematologic malignancies.
Ooh, blood cancers, like leukemia.
Precisely. Things like acute myeloid leukemia, or AML. Their big innovation, the core idea, is engineering these T-cells with multiple ways to clear tumors.
Multiple ways.
Yeah, and crucially, incorporating phagocytosis. It's pretty novel. It means the T-cells are designed to actually engulf and, well, digest the cancer cells.
Huh. Phagocytosis. So they don't just, poke holes in the cancer cells, they actually eat them.
That's the concept. It's a different mechanism. Think of it like giving your immune cells better targeting and this ability to actively consume the threat.
That sounds potentially much more thorough. What's the main therapy they're working on?
Their lead candidate is called CER-1236. It's an autologous T-cell therapy.
Autologous meaning from the patient themselves.
That's it. Take the cells out, engineer them, put them back in. And it's targeted for AML and potentially other blood cancers. They're working with places like UC Davis, academic centers, and manufacturing partners to push the clinical trials forward.
Okay, so definitely early stage, focused on trials. What's the story with their stock and any, recent news?
The stock price, well, it's been volatile. That's probably the best word. Over the last month, it's traded roughly between, say, $0.92 and $1.41.
Yeah, it's been a bit movement.
But if you look back further, like 6 months to a year, it's seen some extreme swings. It hit a high near $171 at one point before correcting way down to this current $0.80, $1 range.
Wow, 171 down to under $1. That really signals something. High risk, high reward potential.
It certainly points to the speculative nature of biotech at this stage. Big news can cause massive revaluations.
So what was the big news recently?
A key event was back in March 2025. The FDA gave a positive review for their IND amendment. That's the investigational new drug application specifically for manufacturing CER-1236.
Manufacturing's always a hurdle, so that's good news.
It is. It clears the path for them to proceed with dosing in their phase 1 clinical trial, which they're aiming for in the first half of 2025.
And funding. I imagine they need capital.
They do. And they announced up to $8 million in Series D financing just this April, April 2025. That's obviously crucial fuel for their R&D.
Okay. FDA nod on manufacturing, $8 million in the bank.
Yeah.
That sets the stage. But what about the overall financial health? You mentioned their pre-revenue.
Correct. Their latest 10K filing confirms $0 in revenue currently. They're all about development right now.
Makes sense. Losses.
Yes, reported a net loss of $8.3 million. The net loss for common stockholders was a bit higher, $11.1 million. That works out to an EPS of negative $19.14.
Oof. Significant loss per share.
Yeah, operating losses were around $16.2 million, mostly driven by R&D, as you'd expect, and general administrative costs.
So burning cash on development. What about their balance sheet? Debt, equity.
This is interesting. Their debt-to-equity ratio is 0, so no debt, which is good.
No debt is definitely a plus.
But they have negative shareholder equity, about negative $1.9 million.
Right. So the value of liabilities exceeds assets for shareholders on the books. That means traditional metrics like PE, PB, they don't really apply here.
Not meaningfully, no. Their funding comes primarily from selling equity, like that Series D round we mentioned.
Okay, got it. No debt, but negative equity, funded by investors betting on the future. Let's maybe break down the strengths and the red flags you see.
On the strength side, definitely the technology. The innovative immunotherapy platform with the phagocytosis mechanism, it offers a real potential competitive advantage if it works.
That novel approach.
And the positive FDA feedback on manufacturing for the phase 1 trial, that de-risks the near-term development path somewhat. Plus, partnerships with credible institutions like UC Davis add weight.
Okay. And the flip side, What are the concerns, the red flags?
Well, the obvious one is no revenue yet. And the heavy reliance on external financing means potential dilution for current shareholders down the line.
More shares issued means your slice gets smaller.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
And the significant net losses mean a high cash burn rate. They absolutely need continuous funding until or if they get a product approved and generating revenue. And that stock volatility we talked about, it reflects market uncertainty.
Those are definitely key risks for you to weigh. How is the market feeling about CER overall? Any analyst takes?
Analyst sentiment seems generally optimistic. We saw one analyst rating it a strong buy with a price target around $11.
$11. Compared to the current price under $1, that's projecting a huge upside.
It is. It suggests a strong belief in upcoming positive catalysts or the long-term potential of the tech. We didn't see much on social media buzz specifically, but positive news like the FDA clearance and upcoming conference presentations, that could generate positive interest.
An $11 target is certainly bullish. How does CEro stack up against the competition in this immunotherapy space? It's crowded, right?
Very crowded, and with some big players. You've got established companies like Kite Pharma, which is part of Gilead now, and Adapt Immune.
Right. They already have products on the market.
They do. They have commercialized therapies, generate real revenue. CEro is definitely the earlier stage player here, but they're trying to stand out with that differentiated technology, the phagocytosis angle.
So the innovator trying to disrupt the established market. What are the key things you should watch for next? Upcoming catalysts.
The big one is starting that phase 1 clinical trial dosing for CER 1236. They're targeting the first half of 2025. That's critical. We'll get the first human data on safety, maybe some early efficacy signals.
First real test in people.
Exactly. Then they're scheduled to present data at ASCO, the American Society of Clinical Oncology Conference. That's usually May or June.
That's a major conference. Good visibility.
Huge visibility. A good presentation there could attract investors, maybe partners, and their next earnings report is expected around May 16th, which might give more financial and operational updates.
Lots happening in the next couple of months then. Any very recent news, say late April updates?
Yes, a couple of things. The Sarah Cannon Research Institute, specifically at the Colorado Blood Cancer Institute, is confirmed as a key site for that phase 1 trial.
Okay, locking down trial locations.
And patient enrollment is actually underway now. They expect the first patient dosing by June 2025. So that timeline seems on track, helped by that FDA manufacturing clearance in March.
Good momentum there.
And as mentioned, they've got presentations lined up, including one at the Society for Immunotherapy of Cancer Spring meeting back in March, plus ASCO. And that $8 million Series D financing, that closed on April 22nd. It was done via convertible preferred stock, indicating investors still see potential.
Okay, let's try and synthesize this. CEro Therapeutics. Fascinating novel approach to immunotherapy, targeting cancer with T cells that can engulf cells. They've hit some key milestones recently, FDA progress, secured funding.
But it's vital you remember their early stage. Zero revenue right now, burning cash, negative equity, and it really is that classic high-risk, high-reward biotech scenario.
The analyst optimism, that $11 target, suggests belief in the tech, but it hinges on clinical success and more funding.
Absolutely. The negative equity, the losses, they just underscore that dependence.
Yeah.
But the innovative science and the regulatory steps forward offer that glimpse of significant upside potential.
So, for those of you wanting to dig deeper, CEro Therapeutics Investor Relations page is probably the best spot for news, SEC filings, the works. Keep a close watch on that phase 1 trial progress and the upcoming conference presentations.
And maybe this leads to a final thought for you. When you look at a company like CEro, with potentially disruptive tech but facing this long, risky path, how do you balance that potential against the very real hurdles? What specific signs or data points would you personally look for as they move through these crucial clinical trials to gauge if they're truly on the path to success?
Something to consider. Thank you for joining us for this exploration. If you found this informative, please do subscribe, like, and comment. We always appreciate your engagement. Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast.